All right, now that I've freed up some space on my local storage, this should be working. All right, so, oh, Jesus, spam's all over the place. All right, so I created a front end React app. I'm gonna list everything out. I'm gonna CD into front end, list everything out. So I've got my node modules, package.json, and source. So the first thing I'll do is let's go ahead and just create a couple of pages. Let's create a home page, a login page, and a sign up page. So I'm going to create a directory called pages. And inside of that directory, I'm going to create a homepage.js, RCS. I don't care about that. So I've got homepage, a home page. I'm going to create a login page.js, RCS, login page. And last one, I'm going to create a sign up page.js, RCS, and I've got a sign up page. Cool. All right. So we've got our sign up pages. And now in our app.js, let's just go ahead and connect those to it. There we go. So what else? What other thing do I need to install if I want to connect? Anytime I go to a different URL, it renders a different component.
Browser router.
Yep. So I'm going to have to npm install that. npm install. I think it's React router DOM. Oh, what did it do? Did I say Damo?
I think it's always best to close my eyes while it does these things because it talks about failures here and errors there and stuff like that.
And different libraries being deprecated and warnings and critical things. So I guess while that is installing, I'm gonna go ahead and just build out my homepage a little bit. It's gonna be super simple. I'm gonna make this an H1 tag. And somewhere I'm gonna receive props. And what I'm gonna receive whether or not a user is logged in. Actually, we'll just keep it as is for now. I don't know, it's props types. Just want to make sure all this is working first. All right. So it'll take a little while.
What is that yarn.lock below your README file?
That's very similar to package.json lock or package lock JSON. It's literally, it just keeps the different versions. So if you've seen the package -lock JSON, it's the same thing. I'm actually going to delete it if you don't need it. All right.
NPM is sure doing its thing.
Yep, it's taking quite a while. I'm actually gonna. All right, finally installed React Router DOM. Now I'm gonna go to my app.js component, and I'm gonna import. Should be pretty familiar with this. Import browser router as router and the route. I'm going to also, oh, sorry. Yes. Oh, you're fine. So I'm going to create a router and I'm going to render or create a div and a route. And the exact path, I'm going to do the home page. So once I go there, I want to render the component, the home page component. I'm going to do the same thing with login and sign up. So I'm going to do login page and sign up page. And I need to also import the home page. So I'm just going to redo that so it imports the home page as well. Questions about that process? Pretty familiar with that by now? So now I'm going to npm start just to make sure I can go to all of those routes. All right. So it's opening up. So there's the home page. I can go to the login page. There we go. And I can go to the sign up page. We got the sign up page. Go ahead and make these H1s as well. H1. And login page. H1. All right. There we go. So let's go ahead and build out our login page. And actually, where should I store the login information?
Probably up at the top app, similar to like how we kind of manage like the search string in the new site.
Yep, good idea. So in my app, let's go over here. And I'm just going to create a handle login function. So const handle login that I'm going to make this async, takes in the event and event.prevent default. All right. And this.
You misspelled async.
Oh, thank you. Async. All right. And this handle login is going to take in a username and password, and it's going to pass it to the backend API, which we haven't created any APIs yet. So I'm going to say like let user object equals username equals event.target dot, let's just say like username when we build out that form value. And we'll also do the same thing with password.
What does that prevent default do again?
So this prevents the default behavior of a form. So when a form is, because I'm going to attach this handle login to a form, usually when you click submit on a form, it automatically refreshes. That's the default behavior of a form. But the prevent default prevents the default behavior of whatever element you're attaching that to. So here is where I'm going to have to build out an API, but I don't have any APIs. So let's go ahead and build out some APIs. So I'm going to create another directory called API. There should be APIs. Let's just do API. And I'm going to create a user API.js. And in here, I'm going to create a login API. So, all right.
In the README, it says that we're creating the user API.js in the source directory. It says
Oh.
create an API directory, and inside the source directory, create a user API.js.
Oh, that is incorrect. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for pointing that out. We'll update that. All right. So we're going to create a login. So we're going to create a const login that takes in some user object, which will probably be this, like so. Object, and I'm going to just return fetch, and the URL is, what is the base URL to our backend?
8,000.
So it's HTTP. What is it? Localhost. I can't even remember.
I think you want slashes there in front of the local host.
Is it like so?
Yep.
Yeah, that looks nice.
Was it
Local.
HTTPS?
I'm just gonna do this. That's a lot better. HTTP localhost 8000, and when we log in a user, what's the URL we go to?
Token auth.
Yeah, is it token auth? I believe you're right. So if you come over here, URLs, if we go to token auth. So if we go to token auth, like so, what we're doing, this is going to be a post request when we're logging in. So the method is post. The headers, let's do the content type, application / JSON. And last, the body of the request, we need to do JSON.stringify and the user object. And then we can just do .then response, just return the response. I think that works. We'll see. We'll see with it. See what that looks like. Actually, I'm just going to do that for right now. And at the very bottom, we can export login. We might export other ones, such as, you know, getting a logged in user as well as signing up a user. All right. So in here, we'll have to do import login from API / user API. I think that looks okay. Login is declared. Let's just see what we can actually get here. So once we have that user object, let response equals, we'll do async await, a login, the user object, and let data equals await response dot JSON, and let's just console log the data right now. All right, so that's, and then we'll determine whether or not we have to do any other refactoring. All right, so we have this handle login at the very parent level at the app.js, but we need to pass it down as a property to the login page. So how can we do that? We do const render login page. That is just a function that returns the login component, login page component, and it passes the handle login as a prop, handle login. And instead of rendering the component login, we can render a function that returns a component. So render the login page. So let's go back to our login page. And this takes in props. Let's go ahead and build out our login page. So I'm going to just copy over some code. So here I've got a login, the login page. We have a form handle login. I guess this should be, let's do some destructuring up here. Const handle login equals props. And there I did some destructuring. I've got this link tag here. This link tag is import link from React Router DOM, just so we can go back to the home page and login page. All right, so we've got that. Let's see what happens. All right, let's go back and refresh. All right, cool. So I've got a label of username. I've got an input with a placeholder Ron Burgundy. The username or the name of that input is username. I've got a label of password. The name is password. And I've got a button for submit. So when I click submit, it runs this handle login. This handle login takes in some username information. Let's see what this actually does.